Time now 6 p.m. and I'll call to order our Eaton Board of Directors meeting for October 24th, 2024. So, first up is roll call directors.
President Garvin, here. Vice President Smith,
Here.
Secretary Pratt,
That was here.
Treasurer Trapp,
Here.
and Director Sparrow is not able to make it.
All right, next up we have the pledge. I'm calling you president.
One allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next up will be changes to the agenda. The one modification that I would like to make is the presentation, but we try to do in front of public comment. So we'll do an agenda, financial report, presentation. That way, if anybody in the public wants to comment on the presentation afterwards, they have opportunity to, or anything else on their particular. Any other changes to the agenda or any objections to that? Changed by number 4. All right. That'll take us to the consent agenda. We have our minutes from our September 26th meeting. Everybody's had an opportunity to review those. I didn't hear a motion to approve. I need to be approved. All right, I'll move back to Secretary Pratt. Second by Vice President Smith. Thanks, gentlemen. All in favor? Please say aye. Aye. Motion passes 4-0. And so we have our financial report for our October P&L. Chief or Hunter want to elaborate on that at all? Or?
No big changes from last month. We see the ending fund balance. This is as of 10/4. So, a 4.25. We do believe that we'll be getting in the next month or so, start getting our taxes. And the first item of business for that will, so we can that. We are intending to pay it a little bit in advance, which will save us some. But as of right now, we're sitting good 4.25 bank and no other major expenditures. We'll talk about it here a little bit, but we will have a purchase of a second engine. They're actually financed right now.
Thank you. Any questions, Chief? Hearing none, we'll move on to our presentation by Ryan.
Good evening, everyone. I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to say, so
Wherever you'd like.
I think it'd be right here. My name is Rich Buchanan, partner Frank Blackley, and I represent AG Triton. That's the honor of meeting most of you. We're the consulting firm that came to talk about your statement of cover, which of course report card, your master plan, and then also your community risk assessment, Frank's expertise. Tonight in a world tour, I'm going to cover things that we have done thus far, but it's only highlighted. You can stop me at any point until tomorrow. So if you folks want to get deeper in the weeds, have a bigger discussion. I know we have an agenda and other matters that have to be addressed, but I'll stop at any point and not go with this and really get into some discussion. So I'll leave that to your discretion. But if it appears that I'm flying through this because I'm not good. So the starters, depending on if this looks like this one there. So we'll be sharing. The first thing is there's a lot of people, like many of you in this room, this has been, a perspective that is from all over the country. The purpose of that is these are people that are familiar with a fire department or district this size. So each one of these individuals, and they each have a specialty. I put them up there, you know, whether it's staffing. Chief Boyd is considered one of the national experts on staffing and deployment. One of the people that we talked to today, Barry, is definitely the deployment and modeling expert for our organization. And so all of these people are involved, so it's not Canada that came up with this plan. You're going to get perspective from a lot of people. Some of this will fit into your agenda, some of it will not. That's the purpose of the study, is to get an idea where to go. When come on in, please. There are many sections to this. You focus it's quite a challenge for the team. We have to start at the standard product. I'm going to give you this much of that, but that's the work hard to prevent service and recognize those. So we evaluate everything from your time performance to the efficacy to your emergency response or your effective response force, fire ground, all of these details, which we're not going to cover tonight, but that's the SOC. Then we get into doing the community risk assessment and everything, fire, flood, you know, active shooter, whatever's in there, which is spring. And then there's an extra plan that you draw out of those two documents, you put it into an extra plan and create a rather large document. This is going to be the first recommendation, if you number one on the list, is you go plan internally or externally, you take that forward. This is most important to you and fiscally is the right time. And then you prioritize the book that we give you as to what you want 1, 3, 5 years down the road. The perspective of all of these is about 5 years. So beyond that, even 3 is very complicated, but we're trying to build these documents for a 5-year perspective. Community survey results, they were active. We not only got them twice, we got to survey the community, but we got to meet a few of them. It was a great opportunity. The first one is we had 76 responses, which is actually impressive. I can range on this, 76. So they're engaged in, and what did they like to write at the appendix of this document? We're going to put in a bunch of the comments, and it was a plethora. To your credit, there are very few. Every once in a while, there's a couple of medical, we take those out, but for the most part, it's a very satisfied community, which you will soon see. It divided pretty evenly of residents. I was surprised at the number of visitors that you must have that would visit often or have temporary housing or something, and they also responded. But a couple of distributions that you would expect, including businesses. And then we asked them if they utilize the services, and obviously a third of people actually had an emergency. A third of them needed services from the district, but they were more in the planning, education, you know, those kind of things. And then a third had not had to speak to you at all, which is great, you know, but it's better. I like this one a lot. This is one of the most satisfying. I've seen a long time. I assure you, I'm not just giving you sunshine. I know places they're not satisfied. In this case, 70, 80%, let's see, 70, 80, 90% of these people are happy with their services. And then you get a small percentage here that they're a little bit, they're not really sure what they are, and you know, dissatisfied 2%. There's going to be somebody that is something, but that is probably one of the best satisfaction scores I've seen. So you guys are doing very well. This is interesting. I always put it in. It's one of my favorite questions to ask. And those of you, including all 4 of you before, you ask the public, how quickly do you want emergency apparatus at your front door? And they all will tell you want it there in 4 minutes. Right before you ask them to go through to pay for the resources. And I explained community the other night. We can put an engine on an ambulance to your door in 1 minute, guarantees. It's a lot of fire stations for us people. So consequently, that is the burden you folks carry to try to balance that based on community perception. But eventually, if they want those resources, you can decide at what point. But I found it very interesting It is very important to them. They want those responsible. Here's going to be the challenge. You folks can't do that from one station. So there are a lot of people in the outlying areas that simply cannot do that from one place. So you have to decide something. You want to try to cut that down, how this works. Either build roads, you build fire stations, roads are very expensive. So the fire stations. So it gives you something to think about for the future. This is their priorities. They obviously believe that this department, this is also a statistic I don't often see where they put emergency medical services at the top. Usually it's number two. They want, fight the fire. Your community is very educated, and I think they recognize that this is the service that they need right now. And then suppression, wildlife, emergency management. Some of the water rescue, tech rescue are important to them. A lot of those events, but when they are, they're high profile risk. And it goes down to community events as appropriate. They like you, but they're more worried about getting services provided to them. So I think that is somewhat predictable, except for the EMS priority things. Then we start the standard of cover. And it's again, I pull out 30 pages of this standard. So if you, especially since you all have experience, if there's some metrics you would like to know about, I'm more than happy to do that. Or I'll deliver it in January for detail about that. From a perspective, we always to look at your current state and your historical. So we go back 5 years, depending on which data we can get. I can tell you we have some challenges with dispatch and the amount of data that we can get from them. And they had a challenge giving us consistent clean data after numerous attempts and the fire chief meetings committee, we were able to get a data set. It's very representative, but it was not without challenges. It's one of the bigger goals you can consider is the changes to dispatch communication and pretty extensive that dynamic waste system. And I don't think it gets you through the next 3 or 4 years. So it's something to think about. And the first one under service delivery, and I'm barely touching this, you know this, but one of the consistent things is your call volume is going up, not dramatically, but it's extremely consistent. That is your ethnicity population. These folks live here, they stay here, they'll stay here forever. It's fantastic, and it's to be their children and grandchildren. So there's a very consistent population that is in here, and you just see the nice growth. The question is, will that change? The perception of ones that live in the urban setting is somewhat changing. If you find speed of increase, you just haven't had it yet. It has been very consistent every year as far as the call volume of your population. There is a need map for all calls. We need to add a couple of things. Do a site visit. Obviously, there's great information you're unaware of until we get here. This was definitely one of them. We misunderstood the complexity of this annual service area. And that is what all of this is to a significant area. And that is impacting your capacity to provide fire suppression and staffing issues and stations and all of this. So we're going to dive into this a little deeper over the next couple of weeks. When I show up in January and present, that's going to be a little clearer picture. But right now you can see from the standpoint of concentration, it's in Lafayette and in proximity to within the city. Population drives call volume most of the time, and that's consistent here. So there's probably 40 different GIS documents that'll help you guys make some future decisions about where you want to put these stations. We're going to have some of those give the chiefs more opportunity to be able to see perspectives in there. And but you guys have some big decisions to make. That is a huge service area. So you're basically two departments running an EMS system that is very different than your fire district. So we'll try to separate those out, but it's pretty predictable standpoint population. There's a big map I drove with the community. Obviously, you can see that it's a day of the week, how we're going down Sunday, and then what is it, 10 o'clock on Friday, you folks are sick. You're in harm's way. But that being said, this is how, and all we know this is how you decide search capacity and what you want to do with whether you're on 8-hour cars, 10-hour cars, 12-hour cars. So they start at 10 in the morning, we've given you a lot of information to help make those decisions. And we're going to talk about the models here in a minute. There's probably a lot of things you can do that can also support the suppression side of this, which obviously we need to do. There's some concerns there, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But pretty predictable. It's the center of the day. The challenge of that picture, you know this, is that volunteer during the day is challenging. They got to work. And so volunteer in this country has, it's, you know, a couple of percentage points compared to what it was 20 years ago. And then that's where I'll fall. So this makes it a challenge, although I think there is an absolute necessity to encourage and enhance your volunteer program. Because this is one of the few places that it can still exist. It's not in a setting, there is proximity to the call volume. There is chances here, and I saw almost 10 high school kids and hang on to. They really great if you could take and nurture them all the way into the came of age. Get a feel academy. This would be a gold mine for the fire department. Don't always have the opportunity to have. So I strongly encourage you to keep your volunteer program alive well. There's your performance. What's important about this picture is it's a misconception. I'm doing 98% pilot for the whole district. So it shows up there that you're getting to EMS calls and fire calls in about 12 minutes. All right, that would appear to be a long time, considering the distance you're covering, and that's at the 98% is truly amazing. Probably in the city limits, you're probably looking at 5 or 6 minutes. The ambulance is sitting in the front door. You drive for 30 minutes, guess how long that response time is? It's 30 minutes. So that's what it's going to be, short of having resources to cut that time down. But it was very consistent. And even your service calls, it just shows your firefighters are dedicated. They're waiting 30 minutes. I have a very busy urban system. And it was a pretty significant delay if you wanted a non-emergent response to help with your batteries. You know, it took a calendar day for us to get there. But that being said, we're folks taking this seriously, and I think they're providing good responses. They could be better, especially in those other areas beyond the city. Questions so far? Yes, sir.
Do you have a breakdown on times by location?
I'm about to. Like, the big question came down to is for the ASA. That was the really one, because the city limits within a 2-mile radius, so 97% of their volumes is within the city limits of McMinnville. It's the ASA that got complicated. You saw that hotspot a lot. They had, so we're going to have to say we're going to put them graphically and let you truly see where those EMS calls are occurring once you leave the city limits. Because that changes a lot. And that is, I guess, one of the things we discovered that it was necessity over here. So you will see that soon. This was interesting. I had the privilege of meeting with your neighbors, the neighboring chiefs, their partners, your partners, people. I'd like to start out by saying I've not seen collaboration, and I spent a lot of time in places like California, Texas, and I gotta tell you, they're not collaborating at all. So I make a joke, which forgive me if it's not funny, but it's actually southern border in the around one of the jurisdictions, and they're very restricted. So the result is mutual aid auto aid is very complicated, and they don't do consolidations. So that being said, then I sit down with a group of people who were remarkably supportive. They were basically saying this is some of the better relationships they've had in their area. This is fantastic, but they want to make it clear the McMinnville district is stressing theirs, and it probably has to be talked about over the next 5 years. Casey, look, this keep sharing it. That's a 2-month period, August to or July through the end of August. This chief was required to have a city department, correct? Yeah, it's a district. Is a district, okay? Their board was asking questions, and during this period of time, which is 2 months, you required for 29 EMS mutual aid responses in McMinnville. You gave that to, and that included a fire. So that means you're definitely giving that with your partners in a lot of cases, and you're able to give back to them. And they want to emphasize they hold these things to always be there with all, but they want to make it clear it is stressing their system. It's harder for them to do, and you know, so we are a very reactionary community. And if there's an attraction event, you want to be some math apparatus over here, problems with that, hard to keep those back for their own. So it's something to think about. This is a master plan. So, and eventually, I think you guys have got to start leaning towards how can you support this without this volume of these are actually calls. It's Indian the number of bus where they don't actually respond to that. This they actually responded. That's so it's something for you to consider over the years to come, and there's probably solutions for it. The next thing is community risk. Now, quite frankly, I have a couple of comments about community risk, and I'll get out of your way. The overview. I was just going to show really cool pictures.
So, what you can do a community risk assessment, looking at all the risk in the response here. And this is just some of the stuff that we will show you is, I think that rain, your precipitation will have rain because in different parts of the country, it means a whole lot more than here. We also look at the probability of something actually happening, the risk of that, the consequence of anything that can be impacting the organization. So when you have your trucks that are busy and currently is high, it affects the impact of the organization because you're not able to respond to the problems. Yeah. So this here is just looking at some of your demographics. We look at demographics of risk. Less than 5 years of age, older than 65, and also older than 85. And we compare it to the state. And then, of course, this is the, I think I did this last week. This is looking at current drought conditions. And also, County is about on the other hand, issues right now. But that's not going to change. Okay.
So your CRA, which he's being nice to switch down to everybody here pretty soon. That's like 60 pages of that document. So there's a great deal of information at the time. The analyst support, this is huge. This was a separate category. We usually only divided this up over 4 projects. So that's just want to get it all done. This is complex. What we basically do is start out with what's called unit hour utilization. How many hours a particular ambulance is used in a 24-hour period. And it's actually that's the way you say it applies to a fire apparatus. How many true hours is that unit in service? And then, of course, you take that number and then multiply by how many days you're in service. And then, of course, you can calculate all of the steps. You know, unit hour cost is this, therefore, we can compare it to other things. From that, we will create a variety of ambulance models. This is screen I probably can't see. Right, what we're going to do is we started out with 10. We'll probably get it down to 5. We're fine tuning a little bit, but when it comes to 2, is you can look at this and say, all right, we have an option of how we provide the messages in our districts. We can do it as a firefighter model. That basically is a divisional model, as a paramedic, EMT, usually on an ambulance, and they have a capacity, as you all well know, to fight fire or medical call. An animal model, which we're going to change the name because you guys are call it a signal model. And so it'll be an SR here very soon. But the signal model is they are purely a paramedic, purely they don't have any fire background at all, which does not allow them to be eligible for out of state. They're expensive because every minute over 40 hours, they've got to be paid overtime. We are at LSA exams. So there's a lot of cost comparison because we don't get overtime for that. So it has to be considered we're making a model. Hybrid is quite frankly what we're going to probably recommend. A hybrid model is to a certain extent a lot of your interfacility transfers, a lot of your nursing home transfers, a lot of your, well, quite frankly, the lower acuity calls might require a paramedic firefighter. Therefore, that would be a sealable position and it would work very well. And the cost of that is significantly less. And then you have a certain number of firefighter medics, so they can supplement it in a given moment you have others, people showing fire burning, that helps you give us the effective response scores that you've all seen before. So there's a balance between that. And so over the next couple of weeks, we spent better part of 2 hours today with Dave Berry, who's really the expert in this country for modeling. And went through some of the scenarios. Okay, if we went to this many paramedic firefighter units compared to if we went to this many AO and we moved them around, you can do it dynamically right there on the screen and then see what the bottom line would be. And the effective response force goes with it. Are we going to set people? Okay, do we have, and what tower are they nice? So we'll present all of that in the most decision. I think that we can present models that will be cost neutral. The one that we have here is very basic, and you almost break even it's adjustment that needed to be made to it. So I think we can get to the point where we can at least over the next couple of years to a break even point and improve the number of firefighters that are on fire around. That's our mission right now. So as I said, we're working today. This is a work in progress, but in the end, we'll be able to give you some final numbers. Then there's the subcontracting. That was, I like to give you folks. Private ambulance is really not a good plan anymore. There's been a number of problems. First of all, they can just leave, and they do. So suddenly we got tomorrow and they're willing to pay the fine and suddenly you go down and that's the area. They also guarantee that that is not part of your effective response force to a fire because they're not firefighters. And then the costs. There are some cases where they'll say, well, we'll offer you per unit hour. Contracts are always based on per unit hour. And then will come in and say, we'll do it for you for $189 per unit hour. You jump on it, and as is the exact case of San Diego, they wait 6 months and they go to the city and say, well, sorry, we judged either give us 230 or turn this into something else, or we're going to leave. And they pay their money, maybe. And San Diego was forced to do another plan, and they were extremists for a while there. We're trying to work that out with them. It's going to work out, but it's not without being stubborn to do it. So right now, they gave the deal compared to everybody else down the West Coast. They're charging $220 per hour cost, guaranteed. They may walk you through the 189 at first. They just won't keep it that way. And now they've got you. They know that you're desperate for service. Whereas your fire department's never going anywhere. You know it's here for the rest of the eternity, so you'll never have extreme circumstance. You can tell them how big throw corner of privatization, but mainly because of their instability. They just can't count on them long term. So, but in this case, it doesn't matter. Give $4 million the district would have to pay to have that service right here, which of course would transfer to all the communities around. This system is almost break even, and even here it's 700,000 where you're subsidizing. I think we can make this for break even. We'll never get close. Not only is it a philosophical, which your belief is about privatization, but in this case, it's very cost ineffective and there's very little liability. So that being said, we have to put it on there. So we did. The AO subcontractor is crisis. When you see that on the list, that is San Diego. They were required to take over as the provider. So San Diego Fire Department is providing the investigative resources to do it. So they're responsible now. So then private ambulance gets to say, okay, pay us $1,500 per call, whether we pick up anybody, we bill, we're not liable, we're not, it's a great model for them, and they just get the cash. San Diego's going to do that, and then slowly over the next 2 years, they're on ambulances. And in the next couple of years, they can take over the whole system and there will be privacy there. But it's going to take a time because that's a very big system. So it will take them a while to build that infrastructure. So that's what we never want to get into this. We only do it when you're you got to do something, and the fire department's responsible, or the city or the county, and now we're going to finance this. So we won't worry about that, but the fire department put it in, but you're going to get this. And I think we're starting to narrow down balance between effective response force and continue to meet the requirements that you're going to get a service area time. Any questions I can quickly do about that? Okay. Questions? There you go. So can I do less? I think of what's out there, but can I answer any question that you don't already know? It's looking at my face, you knew all this, that just spell out to you. That's okay, next to me, polite.
Can you forward us? I'll get it to the board.
Absolutely. Just understand that there's nothing big out there.
Yeah.
So let's claim that modeling will not be a modeling that we will present in on.
Yeah.
But you can certainly see kind of what we're doing. The chief got to participate in that today. He reports to manage on a computer at that point, but you're right. You can have all of that and show us there. And if you email me, I can send you cars if they're like, please tell me about a UHU. What was their utilization or engines where I don't mind that. Just send you back and say if they own the chart. I have to see that they're going to be very soon. Any other questions about the document? And I'll close it out and get out of your way.
You mentioned cadets and board volunteers. Are in your plan, are you gonna have more depth for that? We're like sleepers or just being evaluating all the different models, or you gotta just keep highlighting?
I just think that these days when we travel around volunteer programs are basically being put away. I don't think you should. There's some potential here. There's some good people here. So, and I think there's opportunities to nurture this into all of a sudden become part of your staffing plan. So we'll make some suggestions of what might get there. One of the biggest ones that I've heard would be a scheduling effect where they're guaranteed they're on tonight. They know that they are the ones that get to jump on the apparatus. And it might be a little easier if they came up with a scheduling commitment, but they use certain way whether or not they fulfill those commitments. But there are many things that are still being done at one point. That's where a residency program. I didn't know that. That was quite a while ago. Those are the kind of things I don't know they would need to do a residency, but I do think you need to stay volunteers. They'll have whole staff of ideas. A couple of these people ran the combination programs and maybe but I would try them. I think there's an aspect there that is very viable.
So can you a little deeper dive with that with fire response? Kind of briefed over that a little bit, but kind of metrics and kind of how to take down for us.
That's a great conversation. You and I can sit in for some time and have this because there's two figures. Both of them are, because the first is NFPA, that by the way is actually beating all NFPA standards. But they basically say, okay, you're going to have 17 people out of residential structure fire in order to have a successful mitigation rescue, which is the thing. There is a couple, and this is a little bit contentious, but there's been a lot of studies about the effective response force, and it is something like 12 and 17 for residential fire, or you are enrolled for that person's not. They're not going to have trouble moving that. What is the big debate across is how many people have to be on apparatus, and the difference between 3-person staffing and 4-person staffing is argued all over the place. I personally, I like 4-person staffing, but whether the efficacy actually meant that my firefighters were safer, because in the end, there were 7 inches lined up here. That's a whole lot of people. So it depends. In your case, the response force is twofold. You have to one because your neighbors are so far away and they're volunteer systems. So the concept is how quickly can they get another 4 or 3 an engine company or truck to you is very inconsistent would be the word. So now that means, okay, can you feel this internally? We have at least got things 12, and we're just talking residential in an urban system, they would say 17. But even 12 people means that you've got potentially 3 on an engine. You could have 2, maybe 3 paramedic ambulances if you had all, which you probably won't. Which means you might have a total of 2, 4, 7 people on the fire ground for how long? So at this point, your effective response force is very limited. And it's something that absolutely you should look into the future to figure out how to get it, 2 engine companies there and as you grow. So that's the big thing. Chief is trying to figure out is this providing an ASA, but I can tell you your effective response force is very important. Most of you are assembling urban systems. You didn't fight a structure fire very long. with 6 people or 7, before you would have, quite a compliment. Mindset, they, very bright, just because we could. But I think it's going to be a challenge because whether or not you do 3 and 4 person staff, and you 1 or 2, but I want people to focus on trying to get that number to maybe 7, 8, and then try to push it to 12. Let's try to at least get that many firefighters. Now, maybe a volunteer program supplements, we have consistency. Maybe your neighbors can help you, but I think you're going to have to less demand on their EMS side because you're pulling them in for EMS, which means you can't pull them in fire. This is a huge, well, very complex system, you really do. But that is exactly it. It's the number of people they've proven that. There is a lot of debate now as to if you don't have a minimum effective response force, if a rescue doesn't occur or a firefighter gets injured, killed. And there's not much about that. The rest of it is, depending on what city you're in and, all that stuff. That answer your question? Yeah, appreciate the feedback. One more, absolutely. Priority dispatch. We've got a priority dispatch system. I'm sure you say that. We're able to make a determination as to how you go to the place of that system, how that impacts service. Now, it's so you say priority dispatching. What are you saying? So the AV level. Yes, okay. I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. How that service service. Yeah, your EMD programs you see it's pretty limited, almost non-existent. That would be the cruise screening and where they're saying, okay, this is how you use CPR, this is what you want to do. They do provide some of that on a very limited level. So their tendency is to make things self and have to perform. Very good, which then takes a lot of resources immediately out that maybe didn't need to be dealt with rapid calls. So it is a good plan in the absence of EMD. Now, EMT will take a much different system. You're running a UHF next to a VHF next to a separate system with one individual sitting in the same chair is stunning. And by the way, it's not working. Those are rated quite low. A third of that is McMinnville is at least 7. They're not competing with everybody else. So I don't think you can even think about better prioritization and should you go non-emergency coach? How about a BLS ambulance? You try it for a while, and there is some great validity to that, but it needs you to have a very robust dispatch center so that you don't send a BLS to criticality they can't handle. A system that has refined dispatch system and communication system, you can do things like that, and then you start with real hybrid stuff as where you do community paramedics at home and transport destinations for mental health patients. I would like to touch on that too. This is pretty remarkable. I just finished, I'm still in the process of finishing up SAFE and their implementation of their EMS because there was several big steps to that where they are today. And their behavioral health is extraordinary and their vision extraordinary, are homeless there. They've got some challenges. Branch right, so it's more has some challenges. It's 2% of your call, and that's probably a little bit exaggerated. So, but that doesn't mean in 2 years you don't have that. If you don't have the dispatch that prioritize these. So if I answered it well, your system is and you can't grow until that part component gets fixed. Then there's a lot of things that you can do to improve the response. You're setting the right apparatus. You always need to as law enforcement will call. The answer is no, but with your dispatch, it's yes, because they just don't know. So did that answer well? Politically correct. I was trying to be very careful. What about other questions? Okay, comes to fruition. We will take this to the there's a pretty sizable chunk that we have to especially ASA, so take to it and add those sections that I didn't realize their complexity and dispatch communication. It's in the scope of work. We kind of get the information from that particular entity when they're sending us all their all that. It did not appear the way we found when we got here. So that means it's got to be. We'll do that for 2 or 3 weeks, then it'll be ready for technical review. We will send the documents to the chief, and he and his team will go over and find all our mistakes that will be somehow have units. It's not the problem. Instead of a rule is going to change to say the role contract that they are seeing. These kind of things he will face in his team, because each one will take the discipline training will face things where they found. Once we get a technical review of this, even offer us jobs that they have delivered the example. We're under that. Actually, we have done our job. Here's the document. They say, I have organizations that take 6 months to get it back to us. Well, they had to do that purposely because they didn't want to be public records. So it was strategic that it wasn't the city. I have a feeling the chief is going to get this back to us very quickly. And then it takes us 2 weeks after that to sue it, right? He goes through the first and they make sure the ground is through. Bottom line is that she announced it last night and evidently on a race schedule. It's in January 4th Thursday. There you go. So evidently, we're going to get this done. He is going to give us the technical review back, and we will be doing this. Because he told us. Questions about creating closure to this. Then after that, I strongly encourage you to say how you produce strategic plan. Internally, externally, however you want to look at it. But don't let that document sit on the shelf and get dust. Take it and actually build an action plan around it. All of you have done strategic plans to many circumstances. This one's very, very new or very new part of still in its inception. All right, folks, and I'll quit talking with having heard. Thank you very much for a few days. And on behalf of Frank and Aiden, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Just point of clarification, we did hire, right? But that would start in January.
Thank you guys. All right, public comment. There, anybody in the audience that would like to speak public comment? Anybody on Zoom? On Zoom, anybody that's going to public comment? Please do the public follow us. Hearing seeing none, we move on to our discussion item. Discussion about the meeting. November 28th and December 26th. They're very holidays or holidays.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it to your attention. I do think that we will have items working through. And so I wanted to bring it to your attention. Of course, it's your decision. But I would like to see at least one, if not both of those meetings, just so that you think it's so, the 28th is Thanksgiving, so you could move it up or down, or everything for such. December 26th, obviously, is Thursday, is the day after Christmas. Again, it's not all day, but it's just, want to leave it to the board to discuss. And I am asking you guys
The November meeting, you think it's on first? And then the December meeting, you want to just leave that on 46, or we end up having this for me, do we want to pick a date for that? Probably it's now. Yeah, we'll cancel it. No, no less than 2 weeks in advance. Do you guys have dates that you like for December? Do you want to do like the 30th to 31st, so we can wrap up any final your business, or do you want to do it before Christmas, like The 23rd, the 19th, we'll get off. The what? Before possible. Before Christmas. Did you want to do the same thing with the 19th? Did we have travel plans or not to be around? Unable to Zoom? I think for the thing. Then we'll just follow the weeks. There's no needed action out of those people.
We have several. I think we could go. That's so I think it's out.
December 19th and November 1st. So page 100. Other business, we have board committee liaison boards, treasurer practice, and both up.
I think they would both set.
All right, and Brandy, you're crazy. Jordan?
Just a couple quick updates. We haven't seen the time the times are out. So just got a couple more little things with these skirts and state good show. Station 12 sign is also done at the same time, but they will be selling phones next week. Vehicle logo, we're not where our vendors struggling to get the roll up doors marked properly. So we are gonna most likely be shopping around for another vendor to finish that project. They did a fantastic job on the first ambulance, all of the door logos that you guys are familiar with, but we might have to shop around. We're gonna get there. So, and then just a quick update on the second grade chiefs I talked about. We finally got our phones, our new phones swapped over Tuesday. So we're off the system, we're on a phone system, both station 12 and station 1. So and a little back and coordination phone call station 12. Now the county also granted us phone lines. We have 8 spare lines right now, so with the future grow and keep that 1500 series phone. And we have any question. Okay.
Top of the squad, I think that's what everything on with stuff else doing there.
Yeah. We couple different options. I did want to have somebody evaluate it, maybe have it up to wax, but I'm concerned with the age of the grade that for shadowing parking section off. There's been discussion about possibly wrapping it. Right, it's just very intricate with all the bowling doors. Yeah, but it is something we want to address. That unit, and if you look at the brush 11 on the box, those are the 2 units where the stickers being there for so long, just that it's integrated into the paint. So those will be 2 things that really need to kind of look at. I just don't know what waxing and their body out. So I need an expert to use extra. I'm just saying, I don't like touching the brush a lot. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, well,
Sounds good.
yeah.
So next time is great. That is when that draft do.
Thanks. Yeah, we were. I was talking like a lot of folks. We when we were out there the first day. Yeah, your lives talking and thumbs out, and it really pops with engraving. And it's great. I think old Greg did the landscape like crazy. Yeah.
And temporary one, but the some ground station.
Yeah, I think the first 2 we would like to do is obviously be hot, they will go up here in entryway, that's your place. And there's one gym. And then I'd like to get another one, I don't know. Time frame, we'll probably get another one here, probably months. I'd like to put one on the train town. So, we are going to remove the monuments, the associates, the fire departments, city gives approval for that. But I'd like to put a big one on too, so.
Thank you for that. That brings us to board information report. Any reading board members? I would just like to thank everybody that's been on KEP. You know, veterans was on a aid station for quite some time. Everybody that got kids on fire, and will take videos up with copy and checking in. See all the good press around that. We get excited about it. Even though the line of football and everything, exactly. Thank you for driving. Thanks. Yeah, hopefully, Turkey will talk more about it in the report, but, hopefully it's a successful event. Community-wide, it was very well. With that, we'll go to. Our base report, then. You want to speak for 309 minutes, talk about?
Nothing for 309.
Yep, President Goodman?
So, I guess. So we had our NKP. I think we've had about 650 people that day. I think it's nice. At one point, we had 3 engines going. Chief got through the strategy part of it. Thank you. Thanks to Brian, he hung out for quite a while, actually cooking. You. And we had a t-shirt for all members this year that kind of incorporates and the only thing I got coming up is breakfast. Veterans Parade and then choose anything else?
The parade route,
Pardon me?
you know, the parade route.
I believe it starts at 7-Eleven on Third. Comes down to Cal, or no, we go to Baker, I look around back, oh my, that's probably nice. Sure. So, it's on the line, something like that.
Right, any other questions about or volunteer representative? And now we'll move on to the report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a few things that get up pretty short tonight because of all our keeping track before we go. But first and foremost, thank you to everybody. And this group, I'm pretty sure that actually everybody else participated in the training. This week. We did get a lot of good feedback. We got some negative feedback, which is great. We want that. Make it better. We don't look at ourselves. I chose to attend some sessions, not attend other sessions, hoping to allow for open and honest discussions, so that we can see where our weaknesses are in others' eyes, as well as our strengths in eyes. I will tell you the report I've got is very positive. Of course, we have things to work on. Of course, our mutual aid partners are frustrated that they have come to the city. We know all that. This will give us that opportunity to look forward and move forward. It also gives us that information. You know, when we talk to our constituents. I speak in corporate coffee until weeks. These are some of the factors that I'll be able to bring this information. Thank you all for helping. And I just want to give a brief hiring update. As I believe you all know, we're down to 5 positions. We have offered 5 job offers as of today. All 5 of them have made it through backgrounds. Also, as of today, one of them has made it through the psychological examination. So the other four still have their sites to do, which I believe are scheduled. Then they have their medical physicals. With a tentative start date, I believe it's slightly still up in the air. Into November, 1st of December timeframe. Unfortunately, then November is holiday weekends.
Blindness of the mix, already blindness. As
And they're all very, they all will be paramedic. We do have one individual that we hired that takes paramedic examination, I believe, the end of next month. She will have her final job operations.
And she's interning with us right now.
She is currently waiting for her, we got that switched, 2 days before she started her internship, so try to reach out. The advantage of it is she's gonna do her internship here. She's super excited to be here. But also she's gonna know our program, she's gonna know our response. So that as a new paramedic, a lot of times says you won't know, you now have to system plus your new paramedic plus your protocols. She'll have a really good head start with that, which is an advantage. So I was happy we were able to. And they were her college was going to work with us to switch from where she's. The question of the hire. New agent update. Good news. I got an email from our sales rep today. He's in Florida and he'll be doing the final tomorrow morning. We will. There are a couple of things that the crews would like him to look at, fires, swing boards for tools for the engines. So we are going to look at that tomorrow. But all in all, we have it done. He'll go through the final tomorrow and then she headed to HPE. So that's pretty exciting. The new engine, all the radios are in, scheduling that right now. For installation, the crews have been working hard to figure out where the equipment's going to go. And Brad's been working on the apparatus. So hopefully in the near future, we'll see a quick changeover from 2H1s. Chamber nomination, I want to bring this up to the group. It's something I'm proud of, and I think the board should know. Don't hear otherwise. Of the exact titles, but the McMinnville Fire District, an individual from the fire district was nominated as business person of the year, as well as the fire district was nominated as business year to Chamber of Commerce. Now, whether or not either one of those, the individual and or the district is ultimately awarded that, and I'm super proud as fire chief and as a district that your business community looked at you as an active member. So I just wanted the board to know that Chief Darby, unfortunately, all of the board except for one will be at the conference during their gala. Chief Darby and his lovely wife Sarah will be attending on district behalf. Should someone be awarded and or just show support and appreciation for the nominations that were for the so I think that's pretty exciting and pretty cool.
And one of those important things that we do develop maintain relationships and everything. So kudos to me for doing that. Thanks.
No, I mean, it's pretty awesome. It's Business Leader of the Year award, and it's actually got nominated for that. On some other good company doing for federal new CEO and power and development, those whole things. So I think John's I personally won that award in 2018. And didn't even know I was nominated for it, just like only reason you would be nominated for it. You're nominated by the chamber board, the membership, and then it's voted by the membership of each the friendship of one delegate, but. It's not, so. You basically go to like, here's what they think you. Here's group, investment in that group, so. Chief Darby. Got her going readers every Friday and. Going out and speaking to nonprofits, definitely it's happening, they built around the community. And then, the pirates for the whole were made it to the future. Pretty awesome. And it does always fall in the same week, so I mean, every year I'm gone to see, but every year we'll have a fire chief conference at the same week, at the Jacob Wallace will get out, so. It's one of the things that. I'm conquering. Every now and again, don't rotate, don't even do that. City manager, 7 mile work. So yeah, that's what I have for that. That thing correspondence.
I do.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. I just wanted to also give a couple shout outs. We're talking crews. The training division has been very busy, over the last month. They put on the NFPA pumper operator course. And they're holding another one, in October. That's to help our individuals internally prepare for the next level, as well as better prepare ourselves. We're talking right now, how do we get additional vehicles out the door with the current staffing we have? Just to be frank, it drives me nuts that I got 5 staff chiefs running down the road, 5 ambulance down the road, 20%. So, battalion chiefs, the ops chief have been working collaboratively, on what's enough ways to do this. So these types of classes will help prepare, our firefighters to step in, roles of AIC, as they call it here. So, thank you, Chief, on his crews. We had a volunteer academy start, I believe it was last weekend. 43 individuals signed up, from 7 different agencies. 14 of those are for us. 4 are full volunteers, and 10 of them are student cadets. That brings us to 852,950 cadets. But we've had a very, very strong, involvement from those cadets. I think it's really important because, much like our EMT that we were talking about hiring, bringing her here to do an internship, we're going to train these individuals to be firefighters from high school. And I think that's super important because those are people, those states, and as we talk about recruitment, tend to bring people from within, their parents are here, their grandparents are here, their sisters are here. We just have a much better potential, if you will. When I did my extended interview here, when I was a student, thank you. He called and asked, why you need a kid? I said, I would not believe you got a job, but I'm 19 years old and I want to work in the fire service. And he looked at Billy and said, do you have a job for him? I said, no, but my point is that those are the people I wouldn't have been, even though I went off for 25 years to be back. That groundwork was great today, especially with those I believe personalities. Chief Law did a great job, fostering the relationship with Bob, at the high school. They have over 300 kids go through that program, and I'm quite frankly, we may have to start limiting or changing the way we do things just because of how important it is. So to the students. So kudos to him. And we're working currently on biannual certification process. So a lot going on in the training division. Lots of training going on. Second one goes to the Fire and Life Safety Division. As you know, Fire and Life Safety Week, the week of our pancake week, is an important busy week for me, but also Fire and Life Safety. That's when we get out to the younger kids community and provide outreach to the community. And this year, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was our first year. We took the trailer out to schools during that week. One day I forgot, but come to it resolution, right? But we saw over 315 kids that went actually physically through the fire safety house. And it was very important to me, but to hear, day one, I get a phone call from the board president of the school district saying, what is this vehicle? Why is it at the school? What's going on? And I told him, and he was saying that in front of school. I think Mr. President can maybe even speak on personal opinion from his little guy. But I got more phone calls that week after the trailer than we have all year, as well as when it was at the county fair this year. Not just from the community, but from county commissioners and members of the board and things like that. So we're going to continue to ramp that up, right, Chief Darby? And we're going to continue to ramp that up, and we're going to continue to do more with that training. But it was a super positive event in the community. It goes back to what you were saying. It's not just a person that helps this district get nominated for awards in the community. It's the whole district. So we're working hard. Of course, we're making mistakes. Of course, we must be getting better. So.
Yeah, it was pretty often we get feedback at parent pickup line. How cool we're better with the school at that. Let's have little kids come up and tell me thanks for the trailer. Yeah. So probably last time I heard we all about the trailer. Yeah. Well, my conviction was to it, and then when it was out, maybe mentioned that happened. So thank you all out there. Passing on that. That way it happened. That's all I'm sure. All right, let's see. Correspondence, any email off in your inbox that are from our vendors or reminding you to get your BC3 certification. I want to get that. Training. Hearing none, any information lines?
Just noticed the upgraded audio system. I apologize. Thank you. I think you guys can probably speak to that better than me. Just because you've been on the other end, but it's great. It's phenomenal. We still have some bugs to work out. Unfortunately, it's not working exactly as planned. You would never know that. Based on a few things that our guy approved. So we got it up and running. So we can utilize it in these meetings. But like in the future, it would be nice when he was up here talking to the camera with track. It is setting shoot cameras forever. So that I'm running it. It will automatically switch between cameras and cabinet. Look at the camera. Yeah, there's a camera up here. We have the exact same system in the back room. They're run independently, or they can be run together. So if we had to open these to a large video, you would see back there on that TV, you would see up here. And I've been told, correct me if I'm wrong, but the audio quality on the other side and not having VGA cords together and run across with 500, it's more professional and I think it's better. So so far it's worked real well. I know the meetings used it. I think some of your meetings, we used it for many of our meetings. So it's open. I hope to continue that. Right.
Any other plans?
Actually, I attended the meeting for the AP trade thing yesterday with the volunteers, and the question came up, how do we determine whose space is going out of the door? And nobody really knows.
I asked this other question,
So maybe we could give that to the awards committee. Yeah, I think the whole day.
We have awards.
It's actually every year about this time. It's appointed by the fire chief. I believe it's 5 members, chief officer. It's all of it. It's chief officer. I know it's recipient of an award from years prior. But yes.
And it came up that, they thought the, lifetimers, every couple of years, how much not there, it doesn't.
We do that.
Yeah.
We usually word that.
Yeah, yes, we do that, but we'll make sure. And we changed things up a little bit for this exact reason. All awards will be given annually at our annual, awards, and retirement banquet in March. The problem was is that people were leaving at different times and one would get missed, three would get caught, one was treated differently than the other. Because I was volunteer, I got this, because I was, I got that, because I was this. So when I came in, I consolidated all of those together. And everybody is, invited to the annual banquet. And that's where we'll, like Dave, for example, retired after 50 years. So we gave the handshakes, the hugs, the cake and ice cream, but he'll get his actual plaques and helmets and things like that awarded to him at the annual banquet. So that it was important to me that everybody was treated the same. Have a person like me that only one person shows up because I'm forced to, but then and so in this realm, everybody feels, supported. And so that last year was our first year. Retirees also are sponsored at the table for their families. So we pay for their families to attend last year. But as far as a years of service, I believe we do that, but I will make sure that we do.
Sounds like they must have asked for never happened. Well, they're all going to.
Okay, you're out.
Sure.
But we'll look into it.
Thanks. Thank you. Anything else for information? All right, with that, our next meeting will Thursday, November 21st, at 6 p.m. here at Station One. I'll adjourn tonight's meeting at 7:13 p.m.
Thank you all.